Okay, I'm going to be really honest here. I hope that they don't make Battlefield 7 for like 5 more years. The pace of this new map, Railway to Golmud, is exactly what fans have been dying to see since the game came out. It has tons of space. It is huge. It's 4 times larger than any map currently in the game, which I believe is Mirak Valley, and you can really feel it. One of the first things that I did as soon as this map came out is I got into a jet and I just started taking off and flying around all over the place. The freedom of movement for jets now feels amazing. You just have so much space to maneuver around in. It's clear that this is the largest map in the game because the view distances are insane. As a spiritual successor to Railway to Golmud, I think DICE completely nailed it. This is exactly what fans would have been hoping for, which is kind of amazing to say because when I first heard the announcement for Railway to Golmud, I didn't have a ton of faith in it. I like that map a lot from BF4, but it does lean farther down the pathway of more intense vehicle gameplay than it does for anything for infantry. And a lot of the small adjustments to foliage and changing the layout of buildings helps a ton. It just works so much better than it did initially, and I'm feeling pretty hyped about the whole thing. It's probably my favorite map in the game so far. The new train edition is awesome. I call it new because there's not another map in the entire game that really has anything like this. You can get on top of the train and fight over boxcars and platforms and positions, and there's actually a moving capture point on the train itself that can be taken that can allow your team to spawn on it for reinforcements. Once it's been captured, it moves in the opposite direction towards the enemy base as an interesting position to push from. So it's really fun to be on the NATO team, take it, and then go and push A or push E or whatever it is that's closest to the enemy spawn, just because that's the direction that we're heading in now. It gives a really good progression and flow. Gunfights on the train feel fantastic. I just wish it was a little bit faster. I understand why it's kind of slow for a little bit of pacing reasons. It's just fast enough that if you're sprinting, you can kind of keep up with it. If it was moving any faster, it would be really difficult to make an interception or to try and get on it and have something that could be contested. But it really makes me wish that if DICE, if you ever make a Metro remake for this game, make some of those subways real. I want to be on MTA Transit and I want to be beating the shit out of people in there. Like, DICE, if you are planning anything else down the line with this system, please make a Metro remake with some working subway cars, because I want to feel that speed. I want to be in the middle of a train gunfight, and you've kind of brought a weird fantasy to play that I didn't think was something I really wanted until now, but it works really well and it's a ton of fun to fight on. Transport vehicles are everywhere. There are more than enough vehicles for you to grab at spawn. There's only a few selections of armor for tanks and APCs, but for the most part, if you need to get a bike or you need to get a buggy, there's plenty. There's plenty for you to take. There's even small motorcycles that are scattered around the map for you to grab and pick up as you go. Great amount of pacing there. There are even 2 transport helis this time around to really give you that feel of you need to maneuver. Like, either if you want to ground pound and just sprint across the entire map, like, by all means, go ahead and do it, but you're encouraged to pick up vehicles and just slam them into whatever you need to just to get onto your objective. It's awesome. The Sandbox feel is alive. It really does do the Battlefield 4 map a lot of justice. There used to be a reputation for Golmud that it was very vehicle centric, and now I would say that with the additions of new cover, new layouts for buildings, that it does a really good job at actually playing into the all-out warfare feel. Combined arms combat in this map actually has a place, and I feel like infantry are respected a lot more than its original iteration. The Battlefield 4 map definitely had its haters, and I'm kind of happy to say that Golmud is probably my favorite map in BF6 so far, up until Wake Island finally comes out. I think that's going to take the cake again. Conquest on this map does a great job at returning the pace that Battlefield is known for. Attack, push, regroup, retake, that whole section. You don't feel like you're in constant, never-ending combat. There are actual moments of levity where you feel like I won, and you can take a second to kind of regroup, re-gear, re-kit, reload, get the stuff that you need, and then bunker down for what could be a potential defense. Or you can wait a second, grab one of the vehicles that spawns on the flag, and then make your way to the next objective. You actually get to feel like you're doing doing little missions, little objectives, little operations against one another. It's not a constant barrage of enemy reinforcements coming down on you until you just have to push back to the next one. It really feels like there is a pace that is associated with Battlefield that has returned to that sandbox feel, especially thanks to the fact that transport vehicles are littered across the map. You have great ways to get yourself around. You might run into this situation every now and then when you blew your car up and you might have to run for a little while, but for the most part, the map feels good. It feels fun. The sandbox feel is here. Escalation, as always, does a great job of upping the intensity. The vehicles just get crazier and crazier until you're just surrounded by tanks in the end, that's what you want. That's what Escalation does well, and that feeling is still working in Golmud. Breakthrough, however, completely changes the orientation of the map. For BF6, it rotates the headquarters, so in Conquest and in Escalation, it's both west to east, but for Breakthrough, it is now south to north, and you work your way up through the map to capture each sector. Those new areas still feel really good. The fights are well paced once again. It's Breakthrough, and it doesn't feel as frustrating as other maps have felt for Breakthrough in this game, mainly Liberation Peak when the game first launched. But I only have one major complaint with Breakthrough this round, though, is that trying to escape an attacking push requires you to run through a giant open street, and then on the second sector requires you to retreat through the train railway, which is completely open on both retreats. It's impossible to escape. You will just get shot up the second that you have to move back. Not a huge complaint because you're not going to spend the majority of your Breakthrough session in between those two areas. Each time that I knew that we had to fall back, I was not going to make it. I was screaming that I'm going to die the entire time, and I did. It's just not possible to get away in those moments. So I'm really happy to say that this is the direction that I was hoping DICE was going to take. This is the sandbox Battlefield feel that fans have been dying for. Now we have one map in the game that hits that note. The annoying thing is I'm probably going to burn myself out on it pretty quickly. It is the only sandbox map that is currently in the game, so I don't really see myself coming back to anything else right now. I'm already sick of playing all of the other ones aside from Siege of Cairo because that map is just perfection. All the other maps that the game has to offer are essentially meat grinders. While I do enjoy meat grinder maps, I've played hundreds of hours of Operation Metro and I've played hundreds of hours of Operation Locker. I just don't come to Battlefield for that experience, and I'm gonna burn myself out of this one in less than a couple of weeks. I mean, Contamination only came out like 3 months ago now, and I really don't feel like playing that map anymore. I've played it a ton, and I'm already quite bored of it. It was a good map. It's very fun when it comes back around, but I played that map for essentially 3 months straight, and I don't really feel like doing it again. So now that Railway to Golmud is here, I know that experience is probably going to be pretty similar. I'm going to play this map a ton this month. I'm going to play it a ton next month, and then I probably won't want to see it again for a long time. It's a really good map, but it's the only one in Battlefield 6 that has that large sandbox feel. Mirak Valley does an okay job at giving us some of that, but something about the way that they've designed Railway to Golmud actually feels more like you have space to maneuver and like there's tiny conflicts going on all over the place, while Mirak Valley's been designed as more of a funnel, and it doesn't really complement the same way. The map release schedule from here on out, though, does look to be that it's going to be one map per month for the rest of the year, so there could be a good chance that I don't feel as wrecked by the time this is all over, and that maybe this release cadence is a lot better than it used to be. This season's only 10 weeks long, so there's a pretty solid chance that in the middle of July we are going to be playing Suru Reef and Wake Island not too long after that in August. But for the most part, I know I'm going to play the living shit out of Railway to Golmud, and then I hope that I still want to play it by the time we get to June, because this map is fantastic. With how fast the world moves, I'm gonna get bored, and this is the only sandbox map in the game right now. The only officially supported sandbox map. So I said super early on that I hope they don't make Battlefield 7 anytime soon. Battlefield's direction action is finally going in a way that I've been wanting to see. This game is essentially becoming my dream Battlefield game. Way back when Battlefield 1 was coming around and Battlefield 5 had happened, I was hoping that Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 were going to get a modern follow-up that combined Battlefield 5's gameplay, game feel, and graphics of Battlefield 1. And essentially, Battlefield 6 has now come along to deliver with that exact experience that we've all been hoping for. If Battlefield can continue to deliver these massive sandbox maps, that's exactly what I've been wanting. So I hope that this game just goes on for forever, gets tons and tons of maps, gets tons and tons of updates, new gear, new equipment, new locations to fight in, get me on that globe-trotting fight and event. I want to be able to have this game be as fleshed out as humanly possible, give Portal more of a glow up, because dang dude, this is exactly what I've been wanting to see. So did you jump into this update? Do you think that Railway to Golmud is all that good? Have you given it a shot yet? Are you going to get burnt out? Because I feel like I will. I really, really like this map. And I know because I like it so much, I'm going to play it like crazy. And then there's going to be nothing to fill that void. There won't be much variety behind it. So yeah. Anyways, the map is fantastic. This update is really good. I'm having a ton of fun. I hope that DICE releases more stuff that's just like this. I'll see you later.